Alright folks, so I'm doing my lasagna recipe today, and as you can see it's 11:45, 11:46, well, in the morning. I have to cook dinner in the mornings because by the time the evening comes, the baby just wants to eat, and so usually I don't have time to cook in the evening, so I have to try to cook everything before lunchtime while she's napping or relaxing. And but anyway, this is my lasagna recipe. So I got my ground meat in here browning, and I just seasoned it with seasoned salt, garlic powder, paprika, black pepper, use some accent, and some basil and cilantro, and I also use some Dale seasoning, and that's what I use to season my meat. What else I have that I'm going to put in here is just your regular tomato sauce. I have some tomato paste, and I have some of these mushrooms, and I got my pasta. I don't boil my pasta before I put it in there. And then I have my different kind of cheese. I have cream cheese, which I slice down the middle, and then I cut it into little squares so that I can layer it. Cheddar, mozzarella, and cottage cheese. I know a lot of people use ricotta cheese. I actually like the tanginess of cottage cheese better than ricotta, so that's what I use with that. So I'll come back when I'm ready to start layering. I have my oven on 375. And I have one of these little pans. This is not a super big lasagna pan. It's actually a roaster pan, like what you would use to roast a chicken in the oven, because it's just me and my husband. And so usually I would make a pan that's like double that size, which I would double up my meat and my sauce and my cheese. But since it's just us, this is just supposed to be for like a small family serving, family of 3, family of 4 type of deal. But that's you, baby. Oh, y'all didn't say hey to Gracie. Say hey, Gracie. Say Mama's cooking. It sure smell good. Yeah, it sure smell good. Yeah. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so my meat is finished browning, and I just drained all the grease off, and I'm just gonna add my. Let me turn the heat down a little bit. I kind of got the heat on a little bit high right now. I'm gonna add my sauce. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this and get the rest of it out. Just a little bit, not a lot, like maybe half. Well, actually, maybe like a quarter of this, and just shake it around and add this back, just like that. I'm gonna add my mushrooms and add my tomato paste, which I have to dig out. Alright, so my tomato paste has been added as well. So I'm just going to mix it all up together. I need to maybe turn this light. That'll make y'all see a little. Okay, that's better. Turn on my light above the stove, so it makes it a little easier to see. But yeah, this was just 1 pound of ground beef. That's all it was. And I think a 24-ounce can of sauce. And then your regular small can of tomato paste and one of those small cans of mushrooms. And like I said, normally I probably would buy fresh mushrooms and do a whole bunch of special stuff, but I don't have that kind of time because I have a newborn, so I have to do some of the quick stuff. It tastes just as good with the canned. And so that's kind of a thick, nice little meat sauce. That's why I add the tomato paste to it, because it kind of thickens it up. I like it to be a little more thick than watery. I don't like it to be too soggy. So I added a little bit of water from that can to get the rest of the sauce out, but I add the tomato paste back to it to kind of thicken it up a little bit the way that I like my sauce. So I just let this go for a little bit just to kind of get it bubbling, because it's gonna cook the rest of the way in the oven. So I just usually let this go only until I see it kind of bubbling on top, which may be a minute or two, not long at all. And then I'm gonna start layering. So what I went ahead and did, since I'm using a shorter pan, I went ahead and broke up my lasagna so that it would fit into the bottom. Usually I'm using such a long pan that I don't have to do that. But I went ahead and did that so that it'll be easier for me to go ahead and layer it without a whole bunch of hoopla with the camera. So my first step is I'm just going to put a little bit of one layer of meat sauce down on the bottom of the pan. Get this right. And I just kind of spread it around to just kind of get the bottom of the pan covered. Just like that. It's only a little bit, not a lot, because you want to make sure you have enough layers, enough meat sauce left for your other layers. And it's usually only a 2-layer lasagna, because once you add all the cheese, it really gets pretty thick. So then I'm just adding my first layer of pasta here. And usually it don't have to be all put together or anything. Like this is fine for me. Just like this. And then I do another layer of meat sauce. And this is what cooks the pasta. This is why I don't boil it. The meat sauce will soften the pasta as it bakes. Kind of make sure all the pasta is covered. Alright, and then this is when I go ahead and start adding my cheese. This is my cream cheese that I cubed up here. Like I said, it's really not supposed to be a healthy recipe. It's very fattening and fatty, but it's delicious. So this is just my cream cheese, and then I get my cottage cheese here. And when you're making it, it's easier if you have everything kind of right by you. Got my meat sauce here, all my cheese is here, so it's easier to kind of dip and grab everything without moving all over the place. This is my cottage cheese, and I usually just take a little spoon and just kind of do this number here over it. Alright, and then I go ahead and grab my... What's going on, baby? She's talking over there. Mozzarella. What's up, pumpkin? What's going on, baby? Say, Mama, what you doing? Mozzarella. A little more. And cheddar. And that's why I was saying it's usually only a 2-layer, because as you can see now, this pan is starting to fill up. Okay? So then I'm just going to get my rest of my lasagna pasta here. Try to mash it a little bit so I don't overflow the pan. And that meat sauce. Yeah, baby. Alright. Cover it. And you just pretty much going to take the rest of your meat sauce and cover this pasta, because this is your last layer. And I hope it doesn't overflow with cheese. Alright, that's all my meat sauce there. I know, baby. Okay, so then I'm just going to take the rest of my cream cheese. I'm coming, pumpkin. Okay, so this is my last layer. I just went ahead and I layered my cream cheese, I layered my cottage cheese, my mozzarella, and my cheddar, and then that's it. So I'm just going to cover it with foil, and I'm going to put it in the oven. The oven is on 375 for probably about an hour, and then it should be done. So that's it. We'll come back when it's done. Okay, so here's the finished product. This is the lasagna. I already took some out of here because I'm about to eat some. And it always comes out looking like mush the first time I cut it, because the cheese is all melty and everything. But usually once I let the leftovers sit in the fridge overnight, they come out in those cute little squares or whatever. But it's delicious though. Okay, well, that's it. That's the lasagna recipe. You being a sweetie pumpkin. Hey. Hi, Bobby. Yeah. Yeah, what's going on, Mama? Yeah, I'm chilling with Mommy and Daddy. Hey, baby. Hey.
From now on, I'm not Mr. Ross or guidance counselor. You're not? No. I'm just Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff. Exactly.
Hey.
You're not.
Hey.
You're Lindsay.
Yeah, I got my sweetums.
Seems like she needs a friend.
Hey, Pumpkin Boy. Hey, baby. Hey, Pumpkin. Hey, yeah. What's going on?